Okay, so this video today is going to talk about how to get the best customers in your market, assuming that you're in a market where people buy more than once. You need repeat customers. Everybody in your market needs repeat customers to be able to compete in your market. So what I have here is a PPC money-making strategy that can get the people that normally, obviously most people are buying more than once from your market. That's just normal. But of the people who buy more than once, how you're going to get the cream of the crop, the top 20% of the people who make repeat purchases, pay, and buy the most normally anyway, how you're going to be able to tap into that more select market there, the more small, most refined part of the market of repeat purchasers, and get those people coming to you. So not a lot of people think of this, of course. Ultimately, a customer is a customer is a customer to people, not only if you're dealing with or trying to look for repeat customers, but just in general. I feel like if more people did focus on how to get the best customers. I made a video about how to find your whale customer with PPC, but would try to do that and would keep track of what customers are worth. And of course, the value of a customer differentiates or varies a lot based upon if they search for this keyword versus that keyword, or they were from this state versus that state, or this zip code versus that zip code. They would be able to refine from that, because that's normally the process. But I have a really great, with that, and so first of all, yes, that matters a whole lot, and if you can do that, fantastic. If you normally need customers to do repeat business, and normally they do repeat business in your business, I have another way that you can be able to make more money, make more profit in your business by getting those of the repeat customers, the top, again, 20% or so of that set of repeat customers that normally buy more than once in your market to buy from you versus your competitors. So in other words, how to get your market's loyal repeat customers to be able to come to you in droves itself. Traffic source, like I said, in terms of, will depend or decide a lot whether or not you get that person to come to you. So I'm going to explain how to, routinely find where those customers are at, but then also what is your bait in order to get that top repeat customer that normally buys again and again and again from your market and spends the most in those repeat purchases to be able to buy from you and want to buy from you legitimately, then going with the current, basically who they're dealing with right now. Obviously, and with this, there's a way I'm going to show you to be able to get that customer to come to you anyway. That's not hasn't developed in a repeat customer yet because they're just entering the market. But then also, the majority of these techniques that I'm going to talk about to you today is how to get that repeat customer, who is the cream of the crop customer that's normally dealing with your competitor right now, and to switch over to you. And so I thought about making the title of this video, how to get your competitors' repeat customers to come to you, because really that's what this is. But with that, I guess I decided against that because I guess that's just another way to put this. Let's just leave it at that. So with that said, I'm going to go over what the strategy is to get your competitors' repeat customers that are the best customers in your market. Also, of course, where the best customers in your market are where they originate before they actually get into your market and start buying. Be able to get them before they get to be loyal with anybody else, which is where this loyal repeat customers instead of the competitors' loyal repeat customers come from. So you can get the people before anybody else gets them, but also steal them away from your competitors. What you're going to be able to do that, what's the difference in the profit you're going to make from that? I have information about that as well. So not only how to do this stuff for yourself, but what kind of impact it's going to have on your business as well at the end of the day. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go through a list of things that I normally go through on my videos. It tells you how to do this, stuff to avoid, how to execute this ultimately for your business, and just basically what you need to know. So anyway, the first thing on my list, 80-20 rule. So as you know, there's a Pareto principle, 80% of results exist with 20% of whatever pool or sample size of data that you're looking at. So this is also applies here, certainly, in that 80% of your sales if you're in a market that has you're relying on repeat customers, comes from the self-valuing. When I say self-valuing, so a lot of people, they complain about having cheap customers or whatever. Your job isn't to convince somebody who's normally not valuing your service or product to buy from you and pay what the acceptable rates are. That's a very tough uphill battle. It's much easier just to go after the people who already know the value of what you have and then doing everything you can to sell to that person, even though that you can actually make a compelling argument and get people to switch over to you. But that should be the last on your list, let's just put it that way. But to get the people who already see value in a premium offer that you have, of course, if you sell that somehow was the person who wants cheap is the one that buys the most at the same time, which is not a common combination. You could use these same strategies, but the people who want value, or should I say, want value and already value what you're doing. You sell comic books. This is this person that likes comic books. This isn't somebody who buys a comic book here and there for maybe for a gift. They don't value the trade or niche of comic book reading. How to get that person this is the one or two things that they like to piss money away on a regular basis. This is their thing. How to get that person that buys more than just once because of that, with plenty of disposable income. So there's two things that makes them a top 20% of repeat customer in your market. A is they already value highly what you do, so you don't have to convince them. They come in educated, and they have plenty of money to spend on the habit. This is a minimum wage person who's buying comic books. This is like the odd person who has a job at IT job. He makes $100K a year and he likes comic books. Now that's the person I'm talking about here, and that's obviously, as you can understand, where 80% of it would be literally 5 times as profitable for that person versus the guy who kind of likes doing it, and makes a minimum wage, but still is buying. Obviously out of the pool of people that's normally coming online to buy a comic book in the first place. So anyway, that's what we're after here, just in general. And with that, like I said before, if you track the value of one customer versus another, which you can do that through, if you're running Google search ads right now, through offline conversion tracking. When somebody makes a purchase, assuming that you don't have an e-commerce business, you can pipe in a lead and then a sale, and that sale, how much revenue you have. You can put that back in your Google Ads account, so you can see which state produces what ROI, what keyword produces what ROI, and then you can see the differentiation there. And of that differentiation, certain states are going to have that person who has the disposable income who normally buys more than once because that's their main hobby, and you can start to see what that stuff is. So with that, that you'll ultimately, from that study, if you're not convinced already, that what you really should be after in your market is spending all your focus on that 20%. You can do that kind of tracking for yourself, or you should do it, or go into your books and find another way of doing it. Once you've actually now know for sure, okay, this is absolutely what we should be doing here, is going after that 20%. What can we do to get every one of those 20% we possibly can? And then it'll be a second afterthought to go after the 80% that's out there. That's not really that much. There's not much money in it. And basically, here's the key thing. You're paying the same amount to get the mildly profitable one, or very little, there's very little profit there versus the one that has tons of profit. So you could differentiate and know if you got those, you want that of the 20%, you want every possible one you want, but you want to figure out ways to be able to get more of the 20% in terms of your approach to attract them. And that's mainly what I'm going to cover right here next. So anyway, how do you get more of that 20%, assuming you're already decided, yes, this is absolutely what I want to do. So the process is a layered process. Everything I do, as I mentioned on other videos, is I create like a sales funnel. So you're getting people who are, for the comic book example, online comic book stores or whatever, if you're an online only vendor, let's say. And then that's what they're searching for, and then you get them to your site, and then there's other ads that you run once they've been to the site, i.e. remarketing, that convinces the person to finish their purchase. And then once they finish their purchase, then of course you can do other things to get that person to purchase again. And so this is actually what this is, tapping into. As I mentioned before, there's two actual kind of avenues in terms of getting that 20% customer. One of which is to get them just as they're entering the market, which there's obviously a much smaller pool. And then there's a way to get them to switch that are already with somebody. Or, of course, they know for sure that who they're with is shutting down or don't like what they're doing. Now they're in the market to switch. That would be the other way to do it. Or should I say, the person that knows they want to switch is the same as the person who's never been with somebody. So, there's new prospects, in other words, totally new. And then there's people that are with somebody already who are now looking to switch. And there's other strategies we can get that 20% person to come to us as well and suck out the 20% from our, there's 20% of our competitors' customers that we know we want, and then suck that 20% out of their customer list. I'm going to talk to you how you actually do that next in this video. So the first to cover right off the top, since we want to cover all our bases here, is to just go after the active searchers. The regular ads are going to go after people that are looking for online comic book store or buy comics online, buy Superman comics, whatever. They can searches like that. We have our search ads. They're going to get people to our site, and then we're going to remarket to them, focusing on our differentiators. Our store does not charge shipping. Our store only sells certified copies of comic books. Our store has the most selection. Whatever it is that's actually going to differentiate you is in your remarketing ad. So when they get to our site, they don't buy right away. You can have remarketing only show up for a person until they respond. And until they respond, there's going to be 3, 4, 5 of the different reasons why they should do business with us specifically. Show up for that person in the remarketing banner ads that follow them around on the internet once or twice a day for the next few months until you know that person for sure just wasn't going to do business with anybody. And that's one way we're going to do it. And with that, we're going to do tracking to see, again, which state they're from, where they bought, time of the day of the week that they searched, what device they're on, what keyword they searched. If you got e-commerce functionality on your site, that's really easy to see that data on each one of those individual levels. So you can see where the 20% is. You can weed out the 80% and just say, I don't even care about this other stuff. And then deciding to spend more to get the ones that are worth way, way more than anybody else. And if you have a process where you need to do a 2-step sales process where a lead needs to be generated, and then you have to make a sale over the phone or what have you, and that person isn't driven back online to buy, you can use that offline conversion tracking process that I mentioned to you a moment ago, which I have a video on this. There's an article on our site about this where you can take that person's revenue that they generated offline, put it back into our account, and then start to weed out all the other 80% we don't want. Beyond that, though, now here's the part where we're going to talk about how to basically steal your competitors' 20%, the juicy part. Competitor searches. So you make a list of all our direct competitors that we know that that has the customers we want and the 20% we want. We're going to have an ad that says people that are switching, we're going to give them X incentive, 30% off your first order. we're only going to do this. It's even better to say we're only doing this for the next month to show off what we have here, because we want people to discover it. So I call it a switch offer ad. I'm going to do that for each competitor. You can also do it if your competitors, Acme products company. It could be all Acme product company customers. 30% off any of your order for trying us out this month. So it's specific so that you'll get a better response rate that way. Moving forward, the next thing on the list, competitor audiences. So there's a way to create a custom intent audience on Google through Google's display network, which it'll allow you to, anybody who's been on your competitor site or searched for your competitor in the recent month or so, you can have a banner ad show up for that person wherever they go online that has the same switch offer ad that you did for people that are actively searching on Google for the competitor to get to their site to make another purchase. Most likely they're make another purchase. And you can do the same thing there. And so what you do is you write down, and you can Google what a custom intent audience is, but you write down all their domain names of all their sites, their brand name, their trade name, and that gets all the people that are now buying loyally from your competitor to come to you. And of course, that's not going to for sure get you the 20% of their customer base right away that you know this is the top 20%. But combining that switch offer ad with what I said, and then this offline conversion tracking or revenue tracking, you could see which is the 20% of the people that come from your competitor there. Namely, there'll be certain competitors who have the top 20% and some that don't. So you could just shut those ones that don't give you the 20% that you want and just shut those off. Or it'll be people that are on desktop versus mobile, so you won't even do mobile because that gets you more so the 80%, and you're going to do that as well. Then, of course, you're going to do remarketing. Remarketing of the same switch offer ad. So, as I talked about, there's remarketing that you're going to use to get people that are just looking for a new provider altogether or just entering the market. And then they're going to see remarketing that show the person why they should do business with you in the first time, the differentiators that you have. If they saw the switch offer ad from the competitor search on Google or the competitor audiences campaign, which is set up to target people who've been to your competitor's site, then they're going to see a banner ad with that same offer switch to us and get 30% off this month only. That actually can be broken up so that if they were on Acme product site, that our remarketing ad will say Acme product company customers switch this month. We're offering 30% off any new customer purchase for switching this month or to try us out. I would just say try us out this month. You don't have to get them to where you're saying permanently. Just try us out. We're giving you because our product's so awesome. It's a really compelling way to put it for the user. But if they were looking at competitor A on Google search or if they were on competitor A's site, then you want the ad to mention competitor A if you can do it on your switch offer ad. And the remarketing ad, if they were on competitor A, should reference competitor A if you want the most response. Okay? That's going to get you the most of the 20% on your competitor customer basis to coming to you as possible. Then the final thing you have, switch companies that get 30% off first order, and with that's the offer you have before I move on here. And then some people say, hey, Corey, I don't want to do that because I'm going to have our current customers coming to, and they're going to want 30% off too. You could put other new customers only. And you could take it one step further. You must show us a receipt proving that you're a customer of that other place. I figured that one out, and that actually took care of that problem. Works also very, very good so that you can have a more aggressive offer and not worry about current customers doing it. And also the same people coming back again and again. That way you can offer 30%, and even though you're not going to make hardly anything on that initial purchase, you got that person forever after it, which is the whole premise of this video. So anyway, besides that, once you've gotten that customer, now the magic behind all this is to make sure you got a defense up now so your competitors aren't going to steal them back. Once you've gotten a competitor's customer, what if you could get them to buy 3 times from you, you've got them. So you should have a secondary approach to get that person to buy from you again and again, not just sit back and hope that they do, so that that money and time you've invested to get them will really pay off. And so what you're going to do that is you're going to run a quarterly customer remarketing strategy. So in Google Analytics, you could set up an audience that is just, you could say, if they've already bought from me already, I want an ad that shows up for them that says customer loyalty offer. This month only, are we? Which we're going to run this ad once for 10 days, and then not run a similar ad for at least another 3 months in the future. So it really does seem sparse or rare, or you're not going to get it all the time. We're offering, if you're in a B2C business, we're offering you a $500 gift card for and 30% off the $500. So you pay us $350, we'll give you $500 gift card. You can a lot of times people will use that themselves, even though it's really a gift card, or they'll give it to somebody else. And by the way, if you give someone a gift card, you're going to feel more compelled to stay loyal to that person, because otherwise your friend's going to be like, hey, I used it, I liked it. How are you going to sound when you say, oh, I switched, right? It's another smart little ad there. So it'll be like July special offer for July customer appreciation sale. Get a $500 gift card for you or your friend or your family members for the cost of $350. And that's going to get because a lot of times people use it for themselves. They're not even thinking about the next $500 purchase, but that pulls forward. And what it does is it puts you in position for that person to not switch in the future, which is what this is all about, and get the lifetime value of the customer up as well. So the cost you use to acquire them here always makes sense, and up enough to where the cost of having to offer them the 30% off justifies itself. So you're going to make up, in other words, for that 30% in volume. If you're a B2B business, you can do a existing customer only July sale. We're offering all clients or customers a 30% off your next machine/job order. And so what you have to do is just put a small deposit down, and the next machine that you buy from us, I've done this in the CNC space before, next machine will automatically give you 30% off of it. Which again locks you in to make sure that person can't buy from anybody else. Or if you do like a service and you do contracts, like I had somebody in the call center space, July only, for existing customer only, client appreciation month or sale, we'll give you 30% off of your contract renewal, basically if you lock it in now. Put a deposit down, and then when you need to renew, we will give you that whatever you get, which a lot of times, by the way, what they'll do there is if they were planning on they were testing you out for the initial contract, and they were going to do it started out with doing it for one location, and they were planning on doing it for the next 5 locations. I've found then, as a byproduct or a side thing to all of this, they will then say, wow, if I put a deposit down now for this and get 30% off, why don't I do it for all the next 5 locations all at once, or just in general? And then also again, so you could put a stipulation in there saying that you just got to let us know about in terms of what you're going to renew. If it's more than one, we want to know in advance. That is done for no other reason to get whatever they were planning on buying from somebody else, potentially, even if they weren't planning on it, so that you now got it. And so obviously 30% off it might be a lot in general, but you'll make up for it a lot of times, and they'll buy even more than what they were normally planning or intending to buy when or just renewing the existing contract you have. And so, again, you're probably saying, Corey, why would I give them 30% off? Now, this 30% off doesn't have to be, you can make it whatever you want. But obviously, it has to be enough to pique their interest. At the very least, you can split test this. But instead of them only renewing at like 50% the normal rate, they now renew at 80% the normal rate. And then you do it again, as I mentioned here, you run this, whatever you have here, quarterly. So ultimately, or biannually or whatever. And again, you can run it for about 10 days at a time. It's like sending out an email to your customer list, except they're guaranteed to see this ad, because no matter where they go online, they're going to be able to see this ad, which is why it works statistically 10 times better than any email that you would send out, because it's guaranteed to be seen. And once you've, by the way, found what it works for one time, you got it, something that'll work over and over again in the future, and it could be a part of a system that you just use every year like clockwork for the new people coming in, and then of course existing customers. Again, there's no reason why you can't offer a customer appreciation sale in July and then in December don't run one again. Just as long as you don't do it, obviously there's a fine line. If you ran it every month, the effect of it wouldn't be the same. But quarterly, I've done this, practically speaking, and it works pretty darn good. So just as a general rule of thumb, if you want to start there, you can start there. That would be, you serve yourself well in most occasions, most markets. But so you're just increasing, again, the likelihood that they're going to go with you. So you're going to take less profit on that one. So that instead of, again, you normally get somebody to sign a contract, and then your average time that they're with you is 2 years. That person's now with you for 5 years. And so you're taking 30%. So the overall, you have to do more work, yes, and maybe you just don't want to do as much work, but you can make double the profit because you're now getting 5 years versus 2 years in terms of total lifetime value and length of total length of time that client stays with you, or the total going back to like the machines. I've done this also for somebody who does like CAD design stuff. They not only they stay longer, are more loyal, but they also, on top of it, just because you're out there with something and you're staying in front of them, just like an email, like a MailChimp or something, it gets out in front of them, you're top of mind, so that they normally would order more than what they would order than if you were letting them on their own devices come back to you, or just in general decide what to order because, oh, well, holy crap, they're going to give me 30% off. I should do this. Whereas before, maybe they went through with it, maybe they didn't, because, as people get excited about ideas and then they change their mind, that's always why when they say when you're trying to sell something to somebody that you always want to close it with them as quickly as they can, because people change their mind, and also other competitors are coming at them. So anyway, with this is mainly about cutting off the competitors from being able to go after them, but also you're going to get more people to buy more stuff. So your lifetime value through those two things there, as I mentioned, will go up tremendously, but you're just going to have to offer them, you're not going to make as much on each one. So with the net effect that you're trying to double the lifetime value out of a customer, because you're now having the cream of the, you'll be able to get people that you weren't able to get from your competitors before, and then the people that come in have money. These are the people that really can buy a whole crap load of stuff from you. You've actively had a process to follow it up to get that money that they want to spend anyway spent with you at the maximum level you can on top of all that. So anyway, beyond that, I mentioned that I would throw out some examples of results that we've got in this space, this general formula that I gave you here to get more of the loyal repeat customers in your market to buy from you, and then to actually buy the most from you. So not only are you going to get more, like as the title said, more of the loyal customers coming to you in droves, but how are you going to basically exploit, I hate to use the word exploit, but exploit the opportunity at the maximum rate you can to doing something to get them in the first place, knowing that they will spend a lot of money. Make sure they do, and you don't fumble it. Industries where I've done this exact formula before or some slight tweak to it. I talked about a few different markets: CNC, product development, call center services for the B2B space. In this space here, for like the gift cards, specifically, which is the B2C or business to consumer sales, I've done in the spa space. Doing all this, the combined in the spa space when I done it, the cost per customer coming in was $30. So that's not cheap for a spa client. But here's the thing. Value per customer went from a $350 average value per customer before to over $1,500 because every Mother's Day, every Black Friday, every, what do they call that? Cyber Monday, sorry, drew a blank for a second. Every Cyber Monday, said Mother's Day, we would have a gift card offer that went out to all the current customers and got a crap ton of people to buy the gift card, which then again locks them in and then they have to spend that, and then they see it again and they're like, oh, well, why don't I get it ahead of time now? I know that's a great, so you're just keeping them on this perpetual like hamster wheel, if you will, to where they're buying more from you and they're not going anyplace else. Obviously, they have a gift card with you, they're not going to switch. As long as you don't fumble the service, you're going to be able to do something similar to this if you actually execute this and refine for getting the 20% and then using this mechanism to get the 20% to spend as much as possible with you. So what that is it's half the ROI per sale. So this is kind of a long-term strategy. You got to have revenue to finance all of this, but it's double the profit long-term. At the end of the day with this, because each gift card was offered at around 30% off. So obviously way less margin there, but you're literally between 4 and 5 times the amount of lifetime value there, doing the methodologies, as I mentioned, to try to get spa clients to switch, using the switch offer ad and then gift card offers after that as a whole entire mechanism, sales funnel mechanism. The other place that I did this before was selling workout supplements. This is kind of like the whole protein powder, even though it wasn't that specifically, but something along those same lines. I don't want to give away the actual product, but in that particular situation, did all this, roughly speaking, did the thing with the gift cards. We were paying $16 for a customer, of which, though, we were having much higher quality customers coming in because we did our homework and we did what we were supposed to do here to get every person from our competitors that are regularly buying as we could and new people coming through that we statistically, keywords, and so on and so forth, that we knew mostly drove the 20% of best customers, repeat customers in this space, and not just one-offs, that we were able to take through the company an average of $167 of revenue, LTV or lifetime value of a customer, to $680 plus dollars. And I say plus, at this time, it's still technically going up because you could say LTV over what, 1 year or 3 year? Well, there's people that come back 10 years from now still. They just order, that's just, at some point, you got to be able to say, okay, that's all the LTV value that there is. But at the same time, how can you? Because some people, that's just how it is. They remember you if you're staying in touch with them long term, specifically and deliberately the way that I said here with the gift cards, and you have ads show up for them every 4 months that has a different thing on there. And even though they're not taking advantage of each one, it literally, by the way, costs a penny to have your gift card ad show up for them one time. And so even if they take advantage of it one time out of 10, your ROI is still going to be there, which is why this is such a powerful method. So, the LTV up for that customer or that product goes up 4x. We're offering them 30%, or in that particular case, I will admit it wasn't 30%; it was a little less than that. It depends on how much market margins you have in your space, but I think it was closer. I'm just trying to think in my mind. 10 to 15%, somewhere in that range, having to offer that each time then with that, it's about the same ratios here as you normally would get, or what you're shooting after, which is you're going to have the ROI on a per transaction basis, but you're going to double the profit because you're 4xing the volume from that same 20% customer or your customers in general, because technically this can go after any of your customers, but because you now have a higher ratio of the top 20% customers in your market than you had before, and you've got a really good mechanism to be able to exploit that higher ratio of good customers that you paid a little bit more or premium rate for, but now have so much more potential to get more from them at the end of the day that you're 2xing your profit after factored over, let's say, a 5-year period of time as it is, or compared to what you were paying to or what you were getting from a customer before you had all this refined mechanism set up or in place for your business. So anyway, that is in a nutshell how this whole method works to be able to get more loyal repeat customers coming to you and doing business with you in your market, and get them obviously as well to spend more, people that your competitor has right now and are relying on, and picking them off and coming to you, maybe even putting them out of business if you do this well enough. So with that said, if you have any questions about this particular strategy here, they've done it 5+ times already here, 5 to 10 times. I'm trying to think about, maybe it's a couple more than 10 times actually. Done it quite a few times now. If you want to know in your particular situation what we would do, I can help you a little bit. Leave a comment down below. I answer every question that gets asked on this channel, and so maybe I'll be able to help you out there. If you like this video, there's a lot of other PPC money-making strategies, of course, on this channel. You should check those out. Of course, on our blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, I actually have money-making PPC strategies, written step by step on how to follow those. If you want a little bit more detail on how to build PPC campaigns that make money, turnkey campaigns that make money right out of the box for you as well. So you can check those out as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this inspired you to refine who you're targeting and how to finesse and cater to and be able to get more out of the best customers in your market, and paying attention to what you can do to make their experience and then ultimately get more revenue from them at the end of the day.